Good evening again, and welcome. We are here tonight to celebrate some of Kentucky's most successful entrepreneurial stories. We do this because increasing understanding and awareness of entrepreneurship is one of the most important things that we can do to increase the entrepreneurial climate of our state. And we need to improve it because entrepreneurship is where so many of the good things that we enjoy have their roots. We want to honor the folks we honor tonight so that we can encourage others to pursue similar endeavors. Now, I'd like to start by recognizing a few dignitaries who are here with us tonight. First, the former Governor John Y. Brown is here. Governor. And Vivek Saran, who is the Interim Secretary for the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development. And we also have a state representative here tonight as a part of the Kentucky Leadership Kentucky class that is here, Representative Derek Lewis from London, Kentucky. Representative Lewis. And brought his family. This evening could not be possible without the generous support of a number of sponsors. The names of many of those are appearing on the screen behind me. Would you join me in thanking them for being a part of our evening tonight? And most important, our presenting sponsor, Chase. We're very grateful to Chase for their generous sponsorship for this event, not only this year, but last year as well. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Paul Costell, who's the regional manager for Kentucky for Chase, to the stage. Paul has worked in banking for over 30 years, 27 years for Chase and its predecessor organizations. He's been involved in middle market companies throughout that time, for financing growth. He's been on numerous boards, including the Kentucky Chamber Board, the Louisville Public Library Foundation, the Greater Louisville Project. He's the chair of the board of Maryhurst, Family and Children's Place, Leadership Louisville, and Downtown Development Corporation. So this man has made a huge impact in our community. Welcome, Paul Costell.
Thanks, Doug, and also thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being a former Hall of Fame inductee. I'd like to also thank the Kentucky Chamber for putting on this event. It's a great event. I'd like to also thank the Kentucky Chamber for everything they've done, particularly the last several years, with their success in passing pro-business initiatives with our legislature. And congrats to our new leader of the Kentucky Chamber, Ashley Watts. Congratulations. But tonight we don't celebrate the Chamber. We celebrate entrepreneurship. At JPMorgan Chase, we recognize the importance of entrepreneurship because entrepreneurs, they have the ideas, they have the drive, they have the determination to create jobs and are really truly the lifeblood of our economy. If you listened earlier, entrepreneurs come in all shapes and forms, all different ideas, but they all are driven to be successful and help others. It doesn't mean they haven't failed. It means they persevered. And we are so fortunate to have Donna Ricci-Saul and some other past inductees here, but also the ones we honor tonight, a great class. So in closing, JPMorgan Chase and my colleagues and I, we would like to congratulate the inductees tonight. Thank you for what you've done, and we wish you the best in what you're going to have done for our community and what you're going to do for our community. Thanks, Doug.
One round of applause, please, for Chase, thanking them for sponsoring. Finally, we'd like to recognize the Friends of the Hall of Fame. Those names are up on the screen there. Would you join me in thanking them as well for their effort? The Kentucky Chamber of Commerce has been a longtime partner and promoter of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame and its mission to increase awareness of entrepreneurship in Kentucky. At this time, I'd like to call up the Chamber's new president and CEO, Ashley Watts. And she's going to tell us about the Chamber's relationship with the Hall of Fame. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Paul, for the kind words. It's such an honor for the Kentucky Chamber to be included in this program, and I join in congratulating these successful job creators. Their willingness to take risks, dream big, and collaborate with those around them has resulted in growth all over the Commonwealth. Following tonight's induction, 40 individuals will be in this Hall of Fame. Many of these individuals have served on our board of directors of the Kentucky Chamber, and I can speak personally of their contributions to making Kentucky a better place to live and work. The Kentucky Chamber advocates every day on behalf of businesses to create a prosperous Kentucky, and these inductees have certainly helped to do just that. Our goal as your State Chamber of Commerce is to ensure that we create an environment that attracts and generates innovation, ideas, and the skilled workforce necessary to put those ideas into action. At this time, I would like to introduce one of those champions of innovation and one of the co-founders of this event, Brian Ramey. Brian is passionate about building an entrepreneurial community in Kentucky. He has started and invested in many companies. Currently, Brian serves as the CEO of Apex Software and CEO of Awesome Inc. Both Apex Software and Awesome Inc. help build the entrepreneurial spirit and community in Kentucky. His companies develop software, teach software development, and provide others with the resources to launch and grow their own companies. Brian is a graduate of the University of Kentucky College of Engineering. After graduation, he passed up many lucrative software development jobs to pursue his passion for entrepreneurship. He and his co-founders saw the creation of this software company as an opportunity to grow the high-tech community in Kentucky. 11 years later, Apex Software and Awesome Inc. have served hundreds of clients and employed dozens of Kentucky citizens. Their purpose is to help others pursue their definition of awesome. So please join me in welcoming Brian.
Thank you, Ashley. So the other day at the dinner table, my 17-year-old, she was observing my 4-year-old, and she was just noticing how easy she has it in life. She said, the life of a 4-year-old must be so easy. Everyone does everything for you. I watched as my 4-year-old ate food that was prepared by someone else. She drank from a cup that was poured by someone else. And she made a mess that would later be cleaned up by someone else. So I had to agree. I replied, you know what, you're right. Life does seem to get harder as you get older. But if you make smart decisions, life can also get better as you get older. At this point, Daisy, my 4-year-old, chimes in. What'd you say, B-Paul? B-Paul is the affectionate nickname that I've been given around my house. It's meant to cover Dad, Grandpa, and a variety of other family relationships in my house. You'll have to ask me later about my family tree, but I would need at least another 30 minutes to explain everything going on there. I said, well, Daisy, when you get older, life gets harder, but it can also get better. She paused, she pondered on it for a moment, and she responds with, B-Paul, my princess puzzle is really hard. I didn't argue her on that either. Later that night, around bedtime, I asked Daisy to show me the princess puzzle that she was talking about. Between you and me, pretty easy puzzle. But what I found interesting was that she had it completed. The thing that she thought was hard, she had done it. And I think that's one of the best things about kids, is that they have this childlike faith that they can do anything, even the hard stuff. And somewhere along the years, many of us, we lose this faith and we stop believing that we can do anything. That's what I like about entrepreneurs, is sometimes even to a fault, they believe that they can accomplish anything. They believe they can solve world-sized problems. Now, entrepreneurs take risks to chase these dreams. Take President Lee Todd. When he was faced with the decision to leave his safe 10-year UK faculty job to go start a projection picture tube company, he walked across the street to Arby's, talked it over with himself and the Lord, and he decided he was going to take the leap of faith. Now, I remember Lee Todd using that story to convince me to take a leap of faith when I was deciding to start my first company just out of college. Now, if you've never had Lee Todd ask you to do something, well, let me just tell you that he has a way of doing it that makes you want to go out and succeed, come back and tell him everything that you've accomplished, and hear him say, "Well done." Entrepreneurs think big. Take Jim Host. Jim Host had a job offer, but he didn't want a job. He wanted to start a company. So he told the potential employer that he could do the work, but you'd have to hire my company. So he goes out and he starts Jim Host and Associates, even though there were no associates at the time. His company got the job. Now, I remember when we started the Hall of Fame 9 years ago, Jim was inducted into the first class. He became a mentor to us in creating the Hall of Fame and growing it into what it is today. And he quickly told us that we need to get our act together and we need to make this thing bigger. Now, if you've never had Jim Host ask you to do something, it's a whole lot different than having Lee Todd ask you to do something. When Mr. Host asks you to do something, your primary motivation is much more about survival than it is making him proud. And if you've ever gotten him to say the words, "Well done," well, you need to let me know your secret. Entrepreneurs, they're resilient and they're bold. When Kent Taylor was trying to raise investment for his new restaurant concept, he got turned down by potential investors over 100 times. One time he was on an airplane with Larry Bird. Bird was up in first class and Taylor was back in coach. And he asked the flight attendant to deliver his investment opportunity on a napkin up to Bird. That didn't work because apparently Bird was sleeping the entire time and wasn't able to get the message. But he didn't give up there. He got off the plane and he chased Bird all the way through the airport, all the way to his car. He didn't have luck there either because Bird just thought he was some crazy fan, so he locks the door and drives away as fast as he can. Taylor also tried to deliver ribs to Garth Brooks in an attempt to pitch his idea. You'll have to ask him about that story. But at the top of Taylor's list of potential investors was John Y. Brown. And after asking Brown to invest numerous times, he eventually gave in. And that's how Buckhead Grill and Bar was born, which is one of Taylor's first concepts. When, speaking of John Y. Brown, when John Y. graduated from law school, he started his own law firm. He approached his dad as a potential business partner, but he didn't name the firm Brown and Son like most law firms. He named the firm Brown and Father. That's bold. Now, if you've never had John Y. Brown tell you how to do something, well, wait a second. We've all had John Y. tell us how to do something, haven't we? He's definitely not shy to share his advice. Entrepreneurs in the Commonwealth, we've got a lot to celebrate tonight. Tonight we had 4 new inductees into the Hall of Fame. Mike Davis, Dudley Webb, Debbie Scapecchio, and Nate Morris, who was an emerging entrepreneur with us just 5 years ago. Kentucky's future looks even brighter. Tonight we have dozens of student entrepreneurs in attendance with us, including over a dozen from the Governor's School of Entrepreneurs sitting in the back there. If one of these students happens to come up to you, if they're bold enough to strike a conversation with you, please give them some of your valuable time and perhaps even ask how you might be able to help them out. Because I believe it's true. As you get older, things in life do get harder. Problems get bigger, relationships get more complicated, burdens get heavier. All that baggage from our past, it adds up, and we often forget what it was like to believe like a child. What it was like when we believed that we could actually do the hard stuff and we could achieve our dreams. I also believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they take risks and they embrace their dreams, others will awaken and follow. Belief in oneself is contagious. When one of us takes action based on the belief that we can accomplish the hard things, we give each other permission to believe that perhaps we can all do just that. Now, it's difficult to be in a room like this, among company like this, and not be inspired to pursue your definition of awesome. So it's my ask of all of you tonight that whether you're completing a princess puzzle or you're trying to take on and solve world-sized problems, don't lose your childlike faith that you have what it takes to do the hard things. At this time, I would like to ask the previous... I'd like to ask all the previous inductees of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame to make their way to the stage over here to my right in order to be recognized. And as they make their way to the stage, I would like to thank these entrepreneurs for their courage to do the hard things which have been furthering the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Entrepreneurs take risks, they think big, they're resilient and they're bold. But perhaps the most attractive trait of entrepreneurs is that they make sacrifices for the greater good. Now, this group of successful entrepreneurs, they've dedicated their lives to making our state a better place to work and a better place to live. Not only that, but now they're investing into future generations of entrepreneurs throughout our state. Many of these previous inductees, they've made a commitment to invest their time and their money into new businesses and entrepreneurs in Kentucky. And with their financial support over the last few years, the Hall of Fame has been able to launch the Fellowship Program, which has provided resources to assist 40 early-stage companies in their entrepreneurial journeys. Those companies, they've raised over $41 million in outside funding and created over 250 jobs for the state of Kentucky. The Hall of Fame inductees are also sharing their stories and advice through a video series called the Founders Series and a book called The Unbridled Spirit, and most recently a podcast that we've launched. All of this contributing to the second half of our mission, which is to encourage others to take risks and pursue similarly ambitious endeavors. Before introducing the previous Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame inductees, I'd like to invite one of the co-founders of the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame to the stage to welcome these previous inductees. Bobby Clark co-founded his first business Bobby co-founded his first business at the University of Kentucky in 1981, UK Student Agencies. Bobby was a delegate to the White House Conference on Small Business in 1995, where he helped pass a law that was unanimously approved to establish the Kentucky Commission on Small Business Advocacy in 2000, and was appointed the first chair by Governor Patton. Bobby is currently co-founder of Midwest Clean Energy Enterprises, founder and president of Sustainable Business Ventures, and co-founder of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Network. The first inductee that I would like to introduce tonight to you is Lee Todd, class of 2010, Projectron and DataBeam. Jim Host, class of 2010, Host Communication. John Y. Brown, class of 2010, KFC. Dana Bowers, class of 2011, iPay Technologies. Kent Taylor, class of 2011, Texas Roadhouse. Bruce Lunsford, class of 2012, Vincor Ventus. Ron Geary, class of 2012, ResCare. Billy Harper, class of 2013, Harper Industries. John Williams, class of 2014, CSI. Kent Euler, class of 2016, High Speed Access Corp. And OPM Services. Doug Cobb, class of 2017, the Cobb Group. Joe Steyer, class of 2017, Signature Healthcare. Let's give one more round of applause for all of the previous inductees in attendance.
Let's hoping the magic is still working. Oh, good. Before we introduce this year's Hall of Fame inductees, we have a couple of other awards we would like to present. The first of those is for the Mentor of the Year. This award is given in recognition of an individual who has devoted his or her time and resources to supporting the entrepreneurial community in the state of Kentucky. I'm pleased to be able to award this year's Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame Mentor of the Year to Greg Landon. Greg works with early stage technology companies and related programs in the Louisville area. He's an advisor, a board member, an investor for several software startups, and he's a member of the investment committee for 2 of Louisville's angel investment funds. He's active with accelerator programs, including Accelerator Health, the Vote Awards, Velocity Indiana, and Nucleus Launch It. He's worked with more than 100 seed stage startups throughout his career. He's been on the board of Venture Connectors and GLI's Enterprise Corp, as well as Louisville Metro Civic Innovators Advisory Board. He was part of the executive team that led a company called Efficient Networks from a venture-funded startup to an IPO. This is a broadband internet equipment company, an IPO, multiple acquisitions, and then finally a subsequent sale to Siemens. And he was responsible for product strategy and marketing and contributed to business development with that company. Please join me in recognizing Greg as the 2019 Mentor of the Year.
Good, so impromptu speech. So I actually got this data from Lisa Bajordas back there when she was with Enterprise Corps. It's pretty well understood that roughly half of all the new jobs that are created come from new companies, those 5 years old or younger. And so it's kind of one of those existential things for Kentucky and for everywhere, honestly, to be able to create new jobs. Those tend to come from new companies. The most interesting ones to me are ones just like El Toro. I see Stacy Griggs over there at my table that can create high-growth, scalable businesses. And so that's part of what gets me sort of out of bed, is to see more of that happening in Kentucky. So I think I'll just close with a request to everybody in the audience that has the interest and has capacity. Go find a young, high-potential startup, see what you can do to help them out. Thank you.
The second award is the 2019 Investor of the Year Award. This award is given to an influential individual who has demonstrated the ability to bring value to companies in the form of capital, experience, and leadership. I'm pleased that we're able to present the 2019 Investor of the Year Award to Mike Schlotman. Mike joined Kroger in 1985 and held a variety of leadership positions in accounting, including vice president and corporate controller. He was named group vice president and chief financial officer in 2000 and senior vice president in 2003 before being named executive vice president and CFO in 2015. He's a 1979 graduate of the University of Kentucky, and in 2016 was inducted into the Gatton College of Business and Economics at UK. He was named the 2019 Northern Kentuckian of the Year and serves as the chair of the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport Board. He and his wife live in Kentucky and have one son. Please join me in recognizing Mike as the 2019 Investor of the Year. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of Kentucky's great entrepreneurs, Dana Bowers, who's going to come to the stage to recognize the 2019 Emerging Entrepreneur Class. Dana, would you come and join us?
Thanks, Doug. Part of the mission of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame is to encourage future generations of entrepreneurs to pursue ambitious endeavors similar to those that have been achieved by the entrepreneurs that have already been inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Emerging Entrepreneur Award recognizes up-and-coming entrepreneurs who are showing progress towards this goal. And so, it's an honor to be able to introduce this year's Emerging Entrepreneurs. Our first one is Demetrius Gray. Sure. Demetrius Gray is the co-founder and CEO of WeatherCheck. He's a 31-year-old third-generation entrepreneur and Kentucky native. He started WeatherCheck after experience in the finance, roofing, and disaster restoration industries helped him realize that key processes were ripe for disruption and automation. Today, WeatherCheck boasts over 4 million properties monitored for some of the biggest names in insurance around the world. WeatherCheck most recently was named 2019 Resiliency Innovation Company of the Year by the Insurance Information Institute, which represents carriers and reinsurers throughout the U.S. Under Gray's leadership, WeatherCheck has grown in 2 short years to be a nationally recognized insurtech company as well as heralding the title of Kentucky's first company admitted into the prestigious Y Combinator, an accelerator that helped build companies like Airbnb and Dropbox. So, welcome, Demetrius.
So, 2-minute speech. So ultimately, first of all, I got to say thanks to some of my role models, Allison Wade Houston, who were early on our cap table, Michael Boone, my family, my wife, and daughter and mom and father-in-law, who were really encouraging in the beginning, right, when it was super, super hard. Today, WeatherCheck is growing really fast, and so it's kind of a crazy time, but it's people in this room who really kind of help us to keep going. And so I can't say this without saying, sign up for WeatherCheck. You can sign up your house every single, and I will know, right? You got all the analytics. But I'll leave you with this final quote, and it's my most favorite. Jermaine's gonna laugh. But it's Winston Churchill who said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that matters. We have to continue. Been in this state for almost 200 years, my family. And so it's an honor to make it this far. All right, thanks, Al.
All right, well, our next emerging entrepreneur is Jonathan Webb. Kentucky native and University of Kentucky graduate Jonathan is turning his dream of a high-tech farming hub in Appalachia into reality with AppHarvest. The company, which has raised more than $100 million in funding, is building some of the largest indoor farms in the world, combining conventional agricultural techniques with today's technology to grow non-GMO, chemical-free produce to be sold to the top 25 U.S. grocers. The company's first controlled environment agricultural facility will span 60 acres and open in 2020 in Moorhead, Kentucky. The facility will use 90% less water than a typical farm because of a sophisticated circular irrigation system and a 10-acre rainwater retention pond. So why locate in Appalachia? Like many Kentuckians, Jonathan grew up knowing of the devastating job losses in the region. His grandmother was raised in Whitley County, where a coal mining accident killed his great-grandfather. Jonathan strives to work alongside the hardworking men and women of eastern Kentucky and build a resilient economy for the future. By locating within Appalachia, the company is also less than a day's drive to more than 2/3 of the U.S. population. That lowers transportation costs by 80%, allowing AppHarvest's fresher produce to better compete against low-cost foreign imports. Before founding AppHarvest, Jonathan worked with the U.S. Department of Defense on one of the largest solar projects in the southeastern United States. The project aimed to help achieve a White House goal of ensuring the military's hundreds of installations develop resilient on-site power generation and receive 20% of the electricity from renewable sources by 2025. While living in D.C., developing these sustainable energy farms, Jonathan researched another type of farming, the Netherlands and its high-tech greenhouses that held 30 times traditional agriculture and virtually eliminate the use of chemicals. So then, in February 27, encouraged by investors, including AOL co-founder Steve Case and politicians of both parties, Jonathan left Washington, came home to Kentucky, where he now works tirelessly to make the eastern part of the state the ag tech capital of the world. So, Jonathan, welcome.
Well, folks, when I first came back to Kentucky, I grew up here in Kentucky and went to the University of Kentucky. I first came back with not much more than a backpack and a laptop. Somebody took a meeting, was Jim Host. Mr. Host, weren't a whole lot of people believed in this early on, but you were, and now we've got this facility under construction and launched in the middle part of summer. second person that I looked up to for quite a while was legendary entrepreneur Nate Morris. I got a hold of Nate early on. Nate didn't flinch when I told him what we were trying to do. He said, all right, how do we make this happen? Thank you, Nate. It's been quite a whirlwind the last 18 months, and I'm Steve, founder of AOL Invested, met with heads of state. We were with Secretary Perdue in DC last week. Many people ask, who do I look up to as an entrepreneur? It's a man with a high school degree, selling brooms door to door when I was born. He to me is the entrepreneur I look up to. Integrity, honesty, hard work. It's what he said. All you gotta do, outwork everybody in the room. It's my father, Harold Webb. As Kentuckians, we got to support each other. I think I saw that Jerry Roll might be in the room with Appalachia for Foundation Kentucky. The eastern part of our state has been beat up. We've been decimated by the decline of coal. We got to believe in each other. Got to reimagine what's possible. And we got to invest in our future. So I'm grateful to have a family that invested in me. And let's see where we'll go from here. So we got a lot of challenges. It's not going to be an easy road. It's not going to be an easy road for any entrepreneur. We're throwing our hat in the ring for the next 30 years. We're going to get beat up. We're going to get hit. We're in Louisville. It's Muhammad Ali. You can get hit to the mat. Who gets up off that mat? Let's keep charging. Jim Host, you said that to me early on. Let's keep charging. Thank you, Mr. Host.
Now we come to the main event, the induction of our 4 honorees into the Kentucky Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame. Our first honoree tonight is Michael Davis, founder and CEO of Appriss. Please watch this video and learn a little bit more about Mike.
Michael Davis is a co-founder and CEO of Appriss, a Louisville-based technology business focused on its mission of creating knowledge for good. As a lifelong entrepreneur, Davis and his partner Young Nguyen launched Appriss by inventing Vine, the nation's first automated victim notification service. Today, Vine is used throughout the country, keeping millions of crime victims safe and informed. Over the last decade, Davis has led Appriss's transformation into an international data and analytics business focused on safety, risk, and fraud across multiple markets. The company has grown by taking on complex national challenges faced by law enforcement, exposing fraud across multiple markets, and addressing the nation's challenges with drug diversion and addiction. Appriss is the only Kentucky company to make the list of our state's 50 fastest growing private companies for 20 years in a row. In 2019, Appriss was valued in a market transaction at just under $1.3 billion, making it one of Kentucky's few privately held startup tech companies to achieve $1 billion in market valuation, which qualifies it as a Forbes magazine unicorn. Davis is a 2-time winner of the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Congratulations to Michael Davis on his Hall of Fame induction.
So I don't get to introduce each one of these candidates, but I get to introduce this one. And I'd like to tell you a story about Mike Davis. It was almost 25 years ago to the day that I first met Mike. My partner David Jones Jr. and I had formed Chrysalis Ventures. And we were hearing from every entrepreneur, I think, in the state of Kentucky and probably all the surrounding states who wanted money for their ventures. I was at home one night doing the dishes. The phone rang. Somebody on the other end said, "Is this Doug Cobb?" "Yes." "Is this the Doug Cobb of Chrysalis Ventures?" "Yes." "Well, I've got this great business." And I start to roll my eyes. And I say, "Well, here's how you have to do. You have to get me a business plan, send that in, we'll read it. If it's good, we'll talk some more." I hung up the phone and I said to my wife, "I'm sure I'll never hear from that guy again." And what Mike said to his partner Jung on the other end when he hung up is, "I think we've got a deal." That call was the beginning of a 25-year friendship, a 20-year business association. It was the beginning of a company, Appriss, that I was privileged to be involved with as the first investor, and then for 10 years as the CEO. And as you heard, the current state of that company is a company with a market capitalization of over $1 billion. A real Kentucky success story. And I'll tell you just about my friend Mike, that he is as fine a man as you would ever want to know, filled with joy of life, and he is the most gifted natural entrepreneur that I have ever known. Congratulations, Mike, on this award.
Wow, thanks so much, Doug, for the kind words. And I'm going to start by telling you this is something I never would have imagined, being in the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. And when Ron Gary called me some months ago and said, "Hey, you've been nominated," I was surprised. And then Doug called me later and said, "Hey, you're going to be inducted," and I was blown away. And then I got on the website and I see, Governor Brown and David Jones, who we're all still grieving over, and who I worshiped and just listened to every word he ever said to me. Junior Bridgman, and I still couldn't figure out why I would be a part of this type of an organization. But, I think a lot of entrepreneurs have similar characteristics. We hear it all the time. They believe in their ideas. They want to change the world. They work really hard. I think more important than anything, they persevere. But for myself, and I think most entrepreneurs, they don't do it alone. They never do it alone, and in my case, that's been particularly true. And, when I think about people that have gotten me where I am right now, it starts with, your family, and many of whom are here, and I want to thank them. My most important person that put me here, though, is the woman I married 33 years ago, my wife, Kathy. What you ask of your spouse, it's not fair, it's not right, the sacrifices they make along the way, and she should be right here next to me. If she wouldn't kill me, I would make her come here right next to me, but I can't do that. But there's another person, and you've heard his name, Jung Nguyen is co-founder. Appriss doesn't start without him, and it certainly doesn't survive the first few years without him. And it's an amazing story how a kid from Bullitt County connects in with a first-generation immigrant who walks out of Vietnam and lands in Louisville, Kentucky. But that's a partnership and a relationship that's 30 years old, and it's one of my most cherished. So thank you, Jung. You can tell from Doug, our relationship is so close. Doug was the first guy really to believe in Jung and I, and he really helped us think through a business. We had no idea what we were starting to do. And for him to not only invest, but then later come and join us and as a CEO and a mentor. And for 9 years, it's where I learned really how to be a CEO from you, Doug. And thank you so much for that and our friendship for 25 years. And then finally, I have to tell you, Ron Gary, he's been on our board for 8 years, and there's nobody who I've felt more excited to get to know as a serial entrepreneur and just a optimistic cheerleader who helps you just get excited about everything you're doing. And so I really want to thank Ron for everything he's done for us and that continues to do. And then the last group I have to thank is our Appriss colleagues. You never build a company alone, and many of our folks are here, and our executive team is the strongest I would have ever guessed we would have seen in this business. They're so talented, they're great leaders, They're great people, and they are who drive our growth today, and we're just getting started. I mean, I literally believe this company will be 3 or 4 times its size in the next 5 years, and it's because we've got a team that's just fired up about driving our mission. So there's 3 things I'm going to leave you with that I'm really reflected on, that I'm proud of. And the first is that we've built a scaled tech company in Louisville, Kentucky, and it wasn't long ago people didn't think that was possible, but it is possible. And when you look around and you see these entrepreneurs and who are all over our state that are starting tech companies, I really believe Kentucky can be a technology player, and we're on our way. So that's exciting to have had a part in that. Second, Appriss has always maintained a North Star. Our mission, Knowledge for Good, is just another way of saying doing well by doing good. And whether we're helping crime victims, or we're helping catch criminals, or fight substance abuse, or prevent fraud in the country, these are missions that make communities better, and it's why our people come to work every day. They're excited about the mission, and we've been able to maintain that very positive mission for 25 years. And then the last thing that I'm most proud of is I look back over 25 years, and there have literally been thousands of families flow through this business. People who paid their mortgages and put food on the table, sent kids to college. And that's really the role that entrepreneurs are all about. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's about creating opportunities for other people. And this company has done it, and it continues to do it, and I'm excited about that. And so I want to thank Brian, Awesome Inc. I want to thank the Hall of Fame, and again, thank everybody for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
Man, I love that guy. Our second inductee of the evening is Nate Morris. Please watch this video and learn a little bit more about Nate.
Nate Morris is the founder and chairman of Morris Industries, a Lexington-based technology conglomerate of ESG-focused holdings that reimagine the industrial economy. The signature asset of the company is Rubicon Global. Under Nate Morris's leadership as CEO, Rubicon became a catalyst for groundbreaking change across the waste and recycling industry, expanding operations to 5 continents and 18 countries. Morris has recruited the best investors, including Mark Benioff from Silicon Valley, Henry Kravis from Wall Street, and Leonardo DiCaprio from Hollywood into Rubicon Global. Rubicon has been recognized as one of the world's most innovative companies by Fast Company magazine and as an industry disruptor by Inc. magazine. Morris is the first Kentuckian to build a venture-backed technology startup with a market cap valuation that exceeds $1 billion. Nate is the first Fortune 40 Under 40 winner from Kentucky, the first World Economic Forum Young Global Leader from Kentucky, an outstanding young American by the United States Junior Chamber of Commerce, and the youngest inductee ever to the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. A 9th-generation Kentuckian, Morris was raised by a single mother in a union household. He is a proud product of Kentucky Public Schools, and Morris is a benefactor to the University of Kentucky. There he serves on the Dean's Advisory Council of the Gatton College of Business and Economics and was named the first ever entrepreneur in residence. Congratulations to Nate Morris on his Hall of Fame induction.
I'd like you to welcome Jane Mosbacher Morris, Nate's wife. She is the founder and CEO of To The Market, a company that connects businesses and consumers to ethically make products from around the world. Previously, she was the director of humanitarian action for the McCain Institute for International Leadership, the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Counterterrorism, and served in the Secretary's Office of Global Women's Issues. Please join me in welcoming Jane to the stage to introduce her husband.
Thank you for that introduction, and good evening, everyone.
It is a huge pleasure to get to be here and an even bigger honor for me to have the opportunity to introduce my favorite person in the world, my husband, Nate Morris. I met Nate in the summer of 2010 on a blind date. And at the time, I was living in Washington, D.C., and he, of course, was living in Kentucky. This was long before the height of social media or online dating apps, and so neither of us really knew what to expect or even had a strong sense of what the other one looked like. In fact, if I remember correctly, I had been emailed a very grainy black and white photograph of Nate that included him somewhere in the back of a group of people that were apparently attending the Kentucky Derby. This was my first glimpse into Nate's very deep commitment to this Commonwealth. Despite the fact that we knew very little about each other, it turned out to actually be love at first sight. We spent that first evening talking about our family, our faith, our careers, and our vision for both of our lives. And on this first date, Nate boldly declared that we would get married. And that someday he would buy us a house in Kentucky's rolling hills, and that we would raise a family in his favorite place on earth. I told him that although Kentucky sounded great, I thought it would be best if we waited maybe at least 6 months until he proposed. So in true Nate form, 6 months to the day, we were on a plane to Paris, France, where Nate actually proposed almost the moment we arrived. This is one of my very favorite Nate stories, of which I have many, because I think it exemplifies who Nate is and what Nate is about. Nate is a man of vision for his life, and he isn't afraid to take massive risks to make that vision a reality. He's brilliant, he's very funny, he's dynamic, and he's deeply committed to his faith and to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I have personally watched in awe as he has built a multi-billion-dollar company with nothing more than credit cards and a deep passion for solving issues by leveraging the free market. I have also watched him pull off miracle after miracle, and he has never failed to exceed even my grandest expectations. I also have watched people that have doubted him again and again and again, and have been delighted to see Nate's dogged ability to deliver on even the most extraordinary of plans. Nate is a force. He is a businessman, he is a visionary, and he is a loving and loyal husband. I want to say that I am truly over the moon to have the chance to introduce someone that I admire so very much. Nate, congratulations.
I truly feel like the luckiest person in the world right now. And Jane, thank you so much for all you've sacrificed to make this night happen, and for all your support and all the encouragement and inspiration that you've given me as we've been building Rubicon over the last decade. And I look out tonight and I see so many of the people that I admired and looked up to since I was a kid. I had a chance to chat with Governor Brown before the evening started, and as a kid, he was everything to me. And I can't believe to be on a list with so many of these incredible entrepreneurs like him and others. And I thank those, as well, those inductees that believed in us from the very beginning. Bruce Lunsford, Chris Sullivan, Bill Gatton, thank you all so much. And thank you to Brian as well for creating this incredible body of folks and this brain trust that I believe is transforming our Commonwealth through assembling the best and brightest and grooming the next generation of leaders and helping to transform our state. You know, I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't, first and foremost, for my mother. And a great Kentuckian once said, "For all that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother." Abraham Lincoln said that, and that remains true for me. And so I'm so grateful to her and her sacrifice. She was a single mother, and like all single mothers, we had our ups and downs, we had challenges, but she instilled in me a vision for the future and a hope for what life could be, and a hope for the promise of what was in store. If you work hard, you do the right things, you show up on time, and you have good character. I've tried to live up to those things that she taught me, and I'm just so grateful for the sacrifice and all the hard work and all the things that she gave up to make this possible. To my grandfather, who's here tonight as well, I'm very proud that I come from a union home, and the union taught me a lot as an entrepreneur. It taught me to treat people right, to treat working people and working families right. And he used to tell me, he said, "Look, son," he said, "there is no reason for a union if companies do the right thing." And as we were starting Rubicon, one of the first things that we did was we said, "Look, we are not going to charge any of the folks here at Rubicon, we're not going to make them pay for any of their health insurance. We give it to them." And that all came from him and the values that he taught me from growing up in a union household. So I'm so grateful for that. And for those of you all who don't know what Rubicon is, I'm the only garbage man on the list. And my mother's only recognition of the garbage business was Tony Soprano, so it was a lot to explain. So we had to do some good somewhere. So I know here in the Commonwealth there's been a lot of discussion about our teachers. And I am very proud that I went to Kentucky Public Schools. And I am very rich because of the education that I got here in the Commonwealth. And there's someone here tonight, my elementary school principal, Charlene Bush. Please stand up. I first met Charlene when I was 5 years old as a kindergartner. And she was the first person as a third grader who encouraged me to get involved in student leadership activities. When I ran for president of my elementary school in 5th grade, she encouraged me to say, "You got to keep going, you got to do this in middle school and high school and when you get to college." And she created a magical experience for us. And it's those memories and that association that I have with education, that love for education, is what carried me, that curiosity as an entrepreneur. And I love her so much, and I'm so grateful to her. And if we had teachers like her, and we could celebrate teachers like this every day, our world wouldn't have any issues. We could fix all the challenges we had. And I thank you so much for what you gave me. You'll never know how much I appreciate you. And we need to celebrate all teachers and what they do for us. There's someone else, Professor Susan Wiley, who came to see me from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much as well, my college professor. So grateful for you being here and for all the student internships. When I was working full-time as a student, she helped me get through that process. And if it wasn't for scholarships and all the things that I had to do, I wouldn't have been able to get the education I got. So thank you so much, Professor Wiley, for being here. I'm so grateful for everything you've given me. And I just want to say to all the entrepreneurs out there, Rubicon was started with $10,000 on a credit card. And a decade later, we've created, tremendous value for the shareholders that have invested in our business. And we're giving the waste industry a run for their money. We've been in the middle of big business and big government, and we're giving a really tough industry transparency, technology, and data, and moving the industry forward in a way that no one thought was possible. And I don't want you to ever give up on the power of your thoughts and the power of your dreams and what that means on how you can transform an industry. And it's not money, it's going to be the power of your dreams and your ideas that are going to make our world better. And don't ever lose that passion. And when we were first starting, it was Rubicon Global, us going to Silicon Valley in New York from Kentucky with a waste deal and saying that we're going to revolutionize through technology. We were laughed out of the room. But now, as many have said tonight, technology is here to stay in Kentucky. And I believe we are going to be at the epicenter of how and why the next generation of technology entrepreneurs are going to transform our country. We're going to transform the environmental movement. And we're going to make Kentucky give everybody else a run for their money. And I'm very proud to be a little bit part of that movement. And I hope that Rubicon will be an example for all of you all that anything is possible right here in the Commonwealth. I want to also thank my team from Rubicon that's here, the co-founders of our business, Mark Spiegel, Hank Dudgeon, Lane Moore, Michael Heller, who's also back there, Perry Moss. Thank you all so much. And I think someone said this earlier today, please, download our app. We want all your trash. Everyone who's here. Please don't go to Waste Management or Republic Service. We have one of our partner haulers here, Ecotech. Support Ecotech, your local hauler as well. But I believe anything is possible here in the Commonwealth. And I want to thank all of you all very much. And thank you all for all the folks that helped make this happen. Have a good evening.
This is not on the script, but 5 years ago, I handed Nate the Emerging Entrepreneur Award, and I said from the stage, one of these days he'd be back, and he sure did.
Our third inductee this year is a woman who those of us who were lucky enough to know her dearly miss, my friend Debbie Scapecchio. Please take a minute to look at this video about Debbie.
In 1987, after 15 years in the ad business, Debbie Scapecchio decided to take her considerable energy, vision, and determination to create her own advertising agency. Since then, the agency she founded as Creative Alliance, now known as Scapecchio, has grown from a 3-person creative shop to a top 100 national independent agency. The place is infused with an energy that, by everyone's account, emanates from the top. People use words like driven, passionate, and accomplished to describe Scapecchio's founder. And in the same sentence, they use words like integrity and service. Debbie attributed the success of the agency to its blend of the very best talent with a dogged commitment to its clients' businesses. Debbie's highly profiled business achievements earned her numerous honors, including Top Kentucky Woman Business Owner of the Year, the second woman inducted into the Kentucky Business Hall of Fame, Business Leader of the Year from Business First, Heart of the Community Award from Women for Women, Entrepreneur of the Year from the Kentucky Small Business Development Center, and an Entrepreneurial Excellence Award from Working Women Magazine, among many other prestigious awards. Congratulations to Debbie Scapecchio on her Hall of Fame induction.
Please join me in welcoming Jerry Price, CEO of Scopecchio, to the stage. He'll accept the award for Debbie.
Good evening and thank you. It's truly an honor to accept this award on Debbie's behalf and on behalf of her family and the company that she loves so much. And I know the first thing that she would do if she was here is to congratulate all of the inductees tonight that she is sharing this evening with, and all of the other individuals that have been recognized for their achievements. As entrepreneurs, you inspire us all to do new and exciting things. And I listened to many of you speak, and you talk about the struggles that you went through to start your business. Well, you ain't got nothing on Debbie, okay? I've been in the advertising and marketing business for a long time, and I can tell you that when she started her company, that was a tough road for a woman to do that. It was clearly, watch Mad Men, just go, there's your education right there. So, you know, this is extraordinary. And if you look at your program tonight, I thought it was also interesting. I was talking with my colleague, Tony Clem, and we noted in the program that Colonel Sanders was another individual that was posthumously awarded into the Hall of Fame, and KFC was Debbie's first client. And I think she's looking down, feeling pretty good about that. And certainly, like Colonel Sanders, she was a wonderful showman. There are a lot of characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. And when I think of Debbie, I think the one that most applies is optimism. She really believed that tomorrow is going to be a better day. And her take on the business was, you know, let's not worry about what can go wrong, but let's put our energy into what can go right about the business. And a lot has gone right with Scopecchio and the business that she founded. Today, it has evolved into a private holding company with a collection of thriving and profitable businesses located in Louisville, Cincinnati, Orlando, now Toronto, and now Los Angeles. Hundreds of our partners serve an important portfolio of clients, providing distinct services in advertising, e-commerce, design, direct marketing, experiential activations, and now business transformation consulting. And while all of these steps have been carefully crafted from an organic point of view or strategically acquired, they were all born out of the same confidence and optimism that Debbie imbued into the company. On behalf of the Ovari Group, of which Scopecchio is now a part, and all of its partners, I'd like to thank the Kentucky Chamber for remembering Debbie this way, and I'd like to thank all of the people that have worked with Debbie over the years. I know that she would say that you helped me get here. I miss you terribly. But she's looking down on us tonight and is extraordinarily happy that the city she loves so much and the state that she loves so much has awarded her this recognition. Thank you.
Our fourth and final inductee tonight is R. Dudley Webb. Please join me in watching this video.
R. Dudley Webb was born in Hazard, Kentucky, and raised in Letcher County, Kentucky, located in the heart of Appalachia. He is co-founder of the Webb Companies, headquartered in Lexington, and currently serves as chairman of the board of directors. Upon graduating from the University of Kentucky College of Law, Webb established a private law practice. 4 years later, he partnered with his brother Donald W. Webb to found what is today the law firm of Webb, Hoskins, Brown, and Thompson, PSC. In 1972, the Webb brothers entered real estate development and investing, and formed the Webb Companies, a consolidation of design, development, construction, and real estate functions. Under the Webb brothers' leadership, the Webb companies grew to become one of the largest real estate developers in the U.S., with projects from New York, San Francisco, Boston, and Miami. Today, Webb Companies continues to focus on development of new projects, including the $200 million City Center mixed-use complex located in the heart of Lexington's Central Business District, which opened in the fall of 2019. Webb is married to former Marla Collins of Versailles. They live in Lexington and have 3 children. Congratulations to R. Dudley Webb on his Hall of Fame induction.
Please welcome to the stage again Jim Host, a Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame inductee.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. If you've ever heard a hot spot, it's in Letcher County, and that's where Dudley is from. And if anyone is deserving to be in this Entrepreneur Hall of Fame, it is Dudley Webb. Let me tell you my favorite story about Dudley. I knew Lexington could get the 1985 Final Four if we just had another downtown hotel to go along with the already existing Hyatt Regency next to Rupp Arena. Dudley said, "I'll put a bulldozer next to a sign stating that the Radisson is being built on this site," which happened to be across the street from the Hyatt, and the sign said, "Site of the Radisson Hotel, coming soon." I said, "I think we will get it with this picture, but I gotta make sure it gets built." He said, "It will get built," and it was. And the Final Four in Lexington was the most successful of any up to that point because of the Webb brothers, Dudley and his late brother Don. Downtown Lexington and much of its vision and success exists because of the entrepreneurial vision and risk-taking of Dudley Webb. He has taken more arrows than anybody I have ever been around. But every day, he makes Lexington and Kentucky better. I'm happy to introduce to you one of Kentucky's greatest ever entrepreneurs and risk takers, Dudley Webb.
Thank you, Jim. The rest of the story that day was when I said, "Are we sure we can do this?" And Jim said, "Well, we've been kicked out of finer places." So that was quite an experience. And I look around this room, and so many of you have been a part of our success, at least, and I thank you for that. I also look at our table where some of our guys, 30 and 40 years of service to all of us. Whitford is here, Don's son. Unfortunately, Don passed away 5 years ago, and we all miss him dearly. Great partner, great brother, great friend. But I think Hotspot, the people in Hotspot would be proud tonight. There weren't many of us, but what a great place to grow up. I think that as I think back on it, there were many challenges. One of my favorite quotes when we talked about Abe Lincoln earlier was Abe Lincoln who said, if it should be done, we will find a way. And that's been part of our philosophy, I think, through the years. The City Center project in Lexington is going to be wonderful. Most of you will be pleased to see that. We've enjoyed great projects here all across the country, from New York to San Francisco, but Kentucky's still home. It's a special place. And I think those that have been in our service, our lenders that are in the room, our partners that are in the room, my lovely wife who has put up with me these years, and the new partners that we have in the City Center project in Lexington, the Greer companies, and some of their folks are here as well. And Greer's a Letcher County boy that did well, and is already a member of the Hall of Fame, and that's just wonderful. But what a special group. I just look around this room, and we have lots of great memories with all of you. We've been through wars together. But I think back about what made the difference, I think, with most of the folks in this group. And many of you in this room are entrepreneurs, so you can appreciate this as well. And I just think it was inspiration, it was perspiration, it was hard work, sacrifice, and the most common element you will see among this group is perseverance. And we stick with it, we believe and strongly, we stuck to our values, and we did something each of us, all of us in this room, have focused on is making a difference. And I think we've done that. So it's a great honor for me to accept this nomination. I'm pleased to be admitted to the Hall in behalf of all those who made this possible, and I thank you for allowing me to do this.
Please join me in one more round of applause for Mike Davis, Nate Morris, Debbie Scapecchio, and Dudley Webb, the 2019 Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame class. I would like to finish by thanking our sponsors again, especially Chase, and to thank all of you for being here to celebrate this evening with us. Now let's get out there and create some jobs and create some wealth. What do you say? Good evening. Thank you so much.